Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today. This is going to be a quick video, but I've seen a couple of content creators talk about this, and I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. So Anthony Edwards feels like just last week they were comparing this guy to Michael Jordan, to a rookie Michael Jordan. I can't remember who made that delusional comment. However, Anthony Edwards has some explosion to his game. But again, what separates the best of the best is consistency. It's not that you show glimpses. It's that you are consistently like this. But however, I didn't totally dismiss it. I simply said, hey, well, he has glimpses and, if he keeps going, potentially. But definitely not like a rookie Michael Jordan. But after this All-Star game and, how completely trash it was, they interviewed Anthony Edwards, and his answer revealed that he's not like Michael Jordan after all. I think they basically asked him what could they do to make the All-Star game more competitive, and his response was basically, hey, I think we look at this like a break, so I don't know if there's anything that can be done. It's kind of the response of a lot of players, which we'll talk about some of that stuff in another video. But when I heard him say that, again, I'm like, oh, so he's not like Michael Jordan. So let me say this. Again, when I talk about, I know there's a lot of people who watch this channel, or I should say a few people who watch this channel, who loves to prop up some of the players who they feel are more competitive in his generation. Giannis is someone who constantly comes up, and whenever I talk about Kobe Bryant being the last warrior, someone almost always says, well, don't forget about Giannis. And I always respond with this. Relative to the competition, yes, Giannis is more competitive than a lot of these players. Absolutely. But here's the problem. When you are dealing with the culture of the NBA, the culture of the NBA is not competitive. That's the bottom line. And so Giannis can only be so competitive. And I feel like even when we've seen players come in who seem to exhibit that competitiveness, we watch it dwindle as time goes on. Someone was just talking about the other day how many coaches Giannis has been through. So you start to adopt some of the characteristics of the culture to which you are surrounded by. So to me, it's hard to imagine a player in this era who has a legitimate case of being as competitive as previous generations. Again, which is why I always say Kobe was the last warrior. After Kobe, it's funny. It's like after Michael Jordan retired from Chicago Bulls in 1998, the ratings took a dive from which they never recovered. Some people tried to blame it on the lockout season the next year or whatever. But that wasn't it. Again, because if it was just about that season, the ratings should have recovered some, but they didn't. Michael Jordan retires, people stop watching. And to me, when Kobe Bryant retired, that was the last of the competitiveness in the league. That was the last person holding anybody to a standard in the league of competitiveness. Because if you did not compete against Kobe, he was going to demolish you. And Kobe was on everybody's radar. And I have to keep saying this over and over again for the people who like to rewrite history. Kobe Bryant was most definitely in the GOAT conversation at one point. When he won those 2 back-to-backs, he was most definitely in the GOAT conversation. For you fanboys who like to try to admit that, or who like to listen to Nick Wright or Shannon Sharp or somebody who's just simply trying to rewrite history, Kobe Bryant was in the GOAT conversation. So back to Anthony Edwards. You know, this nonchalant attitude towards the All-Star game. So I want to talk about Michael Jordan, and we're not necessarily even talking about the All-Star game, but if we remember back when Michael Jordan got injured, I think it was 1985, when he got the broken foot or whatever it was, and they didn't want him to come back. They said it was a 10% chance that if he re-injured it, he might never be able to play again. Michael Jordan was insistent upon playing. Not only was he insistent upon playing, he went back to his old college and started playing without their knowledge because Michael Jordan had to play. But there's an interview where he's being asked about, because the other thing, rumor or reason that they didn't want him to come back, because the season was already going so bad, so they figured they could tank the season and get a better draft pick. Michael Jordan was having none of that. And when he was asked in an interview about that, he said, to me, you wanting to tank games just to try to get a better draft pick, he said, to me, that just shows a losing attitude. He said, for the coaches and for the front office. that Michael Jordan was having none of that. Losing for whatever reason. Losing is not an option. You always play to win. That's the sentiment. Is you always play to win. Another story that I recently came across, it was some kind of, I can't remember if it was a celebrity game Michael Jordan was involved in, something. But anyway, it was a pretty high scoring game. It was a pretty high scoring game, and it was kind of just for fun. But whoever was telling the story was like, so they get to the last, 5 minutes of the game or so, and then he was like, Michael Jordan gets dead serious. And he's like, so are we planning on winning this thing or what? And it was just some celebrity game. You know, it wasn't even an all-star game. It was something of less significance. But it was like, as it got towards the end of the game, Michael Jordan was like, hey, are we going to win this thing or what? And it was like he got dead serious about it. Michael Jordan was about winning. Michael Jordan loved the game. Michael Jordan was a true competitor. So to compare anybody in this current generation to Michael Jordan is a fallacy. It is impossible because the culture of the NBA is just completely tainted now. The culture of the NBA is poisoned with uncompetitive, super selfish, only care about the money players. And you can tell that by the response of the multiple players that they interviewed about what would make the league, what would make the All-Star game more competitive. And then I was watching something where they suggested money. It's like, if you love something, you're supposed to want to do it whether there's money involved and not. And I'm going to leave you guys with this one last thought of mine, because I hear a lot of people in today, especially LeBron, Steph Curry, I had heard some other players say, yeah, we're just trying to go out there and have fun. And that's what it really seems like it has gone to. It's more like a little league mentality out there. It's like, oh, just go out there and have fun, guys, and don't worry about winning or losing. You're still making $1 million. It's like your parents. We still love you whether you win or lose. That's really the attitude that is in the NBA now. It is like it's really just about fun, and it's not really about the competition anymore. And it's surely not about players trying to show their dominance over one another. That is completely gone. But anyway, we are going to hold up here. I just thought I'd give my thoughts on the whole Anthony Edwards thing. Like I said, it was just last week when they were trying to compare him to a rookie Michael Jordan. And I think just his answer alone about that All-Star game disqualifies him. He is no Michael Jordan. period. And neither is no player in the current NBA today close to a Michael Jordan, to a Kobe Bryant, to a Larry Bird. I guess we have to talk about what Larry said about LeBron James at some point. I've been debating whether I'm going to say anything about that or not, but I guess I'll do a video on that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about Anthony Edwards' response about how to make the All-Star game competitive, or if it is possible to make the All-Star game more competitive? And do you think that his response totally disqualifies him from ever being compared to Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan was about winning all the time. Didn't matter what it was. You know, again, that the difference between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant is Michael Jordan is competitive about everything. He wants to win at everything. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.